There is a seed that produces cooking oil 8 times faster than any olive tree. You can plant it in spring and harvest oil that same fall. It grows in climates where olive trees would die within a week. Modern varieties contain over 80% oleic acid, matching the exact fatty acid profile that olive oil is celebrated for. The global olive oil market generates over $22 billion annually, and this industry has spent decades convincing you there is only one healthy cooking oil. Your great-grandparents knew about this seed. Native Americans cultivated it 5,000 years ago, and at the end of this video, you will know how to produce a year's worth of cooking oil from a backyard plot without purchasing a single bottle from a store. Walk into any grocery store today and watch shoppers reaching for olive oil bottles. They will pay $12, $15, sometimes $20 for a few hundred milliliters. They believe they have no other option for heart-healthy cooking oil. They have never heard of the alternative. The alternative grows across Kansas, North Dakota, and Ukraine. It produces 35 to 80 gallons of oil per acre. It requires no years of waiting for trees to mature. Consider what olive oil actually demands. An olive tree takes 3 to 5 years before producing its first harvest. Most trees only become fully productive after 8 or 9 years of growth. When grown in traditional open grove cultivation, olive trees need 65 to 80 years to reach stable yields. 80 years, 3 human generations waiting for a tree to hit its stride, and these trees only survive in Mediterranean climates. They cannot tolerate the winters of Minnesota or the summers of Arizona. The geography of olive production is fundamentally limited. Now consider the seed that solves every one of these problems: the sunflower, Helianthus annuus, a plant so productive that farmers harvest it the same year they plant it. A plant that thrives in climates ranging from Canada to Argentina. A plant that Native American tribes cultivated as a staple crop while Europeans were still fighting over olive groves. The earliest known examples of fully domesticated sunflowers have been found in Tennessee, dating to around 2,300 years before the Common Era. That is over 4,000 years of documented cultivation on North American soil. Native American people grew sunflowers as a crop from Mexico to southern Canada. They planted sunflowers on the northern edges of their gardens as a fourth sister alongside the famous 3 sisters of corn, beans, and squash. This was not decoration, this was food infrastructure. The Hidatsa people of the northern Great Plains developed sunflower varieties specifically for oil production. The seeds were roasted and ground into fine meal for baking. Families boiled ground seeds to extract cooking oil. They created seed balls similar to modern peanut butter as portable food for long journeys. Oil extracted from the seeds provided cooking fat, hair treatment, and medicine. Different varieties produced purple and yellow dyes. The sunflower served more functions than any single European crop of that era. Then something strange happened. Spanish explorers brought sunflower seeds back to Europe around 1500. Records indicate they were in ornamental gardens in Madrid by 1510, but here is the critical detail. When colonists and explorers sent seed from the New World back to Europe, the sunflower was treated mainly as a curiosity and a garden flower. It was not used as an edible crop again until it reached Russia. The Europeans who encountered this miraculous oilseed looked at it and saw only a pretty flower. The Russian transformation of the sunflower changed everything. Peter the Great is credited with introducing sunflowers to Russia after seeing the plant in Holland. But the real catalyst was religious law. The Holy Orthodox Church forbade the use of many foods, including those rich in oil, during Lent and Advent. The sunflower was not on the forbidden list. Russians eagerly accepted the sunflower as an oil source that could be eaten without breaking church law. What European aristocrats dismissed as decoration became the foundation of Russian agriculture. By the early 19th century, Russia had recognized the sunflower's potential as vegetable oil in human food. The year 1886 marked a turning point. That year saw the birth of Vasily Stepanovich Pustovoit, arguably the most important figure in sunflower breeding history. Pustovoit began working in Russia in 1912 and was quickly regarded as an outstanding research scientist. His breeding programs transformed the sunflower from a variable wild plant into a consistent high-oil crop. The Russians were not just growing sunflowers, they were engineering them for maximum oil production. Now let us examine what modern science has confirmed about sunflower oil. In recent years, plant breeders have developed high oleic sunflower varieties containing 75 to over 90% oleic acid. This is the same monounsaturated fatty acid that makes olive oil famous. Standard olive oil contains around 70% oleic acid. High oleic sunflower oil matches or exceeds this concentration. The fatty acid profile that nutritionists celebrate in Mediterranean diets exists in equal measure in sunflower seeds grown in Nebraska. The science goes deeper. In 2018, the United States Food and Drug Administration made a significant decision. The FDA determined there was enough scientific evidence to allow companies to use a qualified health claim. The claim states that daily intake of 1.5 tablespoons of high oleic acid oils containing more than 70% oleic acid could reduce the risk of coronary heart disease. This FDA ruling applies to high oleic sunflower oil. The government agency responsible for food safety officially recognized that sunflower oil provides the same cardiovascular benefits attributed to olive oil. Clinical research supports this conclusion. Studies published in peer-reviewed journals show that substituting foods rich in saturated fat with foods rich in high oleic acid sunflower oil and margarine produces favorable outcomes on blood lipids. Researchers found improvements in factor VII coagulant activity, a marker related to blood clotting risk. The scientists concluded that high oleic sunflower oil presents another useful source of monounsaturated fatty acids for diets aimed at prevention of heart disease. This is not alternative medicine. This is mainstream nutritional science published in respected journals. The practical advantages extend beyond nutrition. Refined sunflower oil reaches a smoke point of 440 to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. High oleic sunflower oil pushes even higher to 471 degrees Fahrenheit according to industry data. Compare this to extra virgin olive oil with a smoke point between 320 and 375 degrees Fahrenheit. When you heat olive oil past its smoke point, the oil degrades and releases harmful compounds. Sunflower oil remains stable at temperatures that would damage olive oil. For high-heat cooking like frying and searing, sunflower oil is objectively safer. Oxidative stability tells the same story. The rates of oxidation follow a clear pattern. Linoleic acid oxidizes 20 times faster than oleic acid. Linoleic acid oxidizes 10 times faster than oleic acid. Standard sunflower oil contains more linoleic acid and breaks down faster under heat. But high oleic sunflower oil, with its dominant oleic acid content, lasts 3 to 5 times longer in frying applications. Food manufacturers seeking shelf stability increasingly choose high oleic sunflower oil over alternatives. The chemistry favors sunflower. Here is what makes this particularly important. These modified sunflower seeds were obtained through traditional breeding, not genetic engineering. Plant breeders selected for higher oleic acid content over multiple generations. No laboratory splicing genes, no controversial technologies, just the same selective breeding humans have practiced for 10,000 years. High oleic sunflower is as natural as any heirloom tomato. So why does nobody in America cook with sunflower oil? Why does every health article celebrate olive oil while ignoring its scientifically equivalent alternative? The answer is not conspiracy. The answer is economics and marketing and structural incentives that favor certain crops over others. The global olive oil market was valued at $22.3 billion in 2022. Industry analysts project this market will reach $33 billion by 2030. This is an industry with centuries of marketing infrastructure. The Mediterranean diet gained international scientific recognition in the 1960s through the work of Professor Ansel Keys and the 7 Countries Study. That research linked Mediterranean eating patterns to reduced heart disease. Olive oil became the symbol of healthy fat consumption. The pre-dimed study, launched in Spain, became the most influential nutrition research of recent decades. This massive trial examined effects of Mediterranean diet supplementation with either extra virgin olive oil or nuts. Healthcare professionals worldwide studied these findings. Medical schools taught these conclusions. Olive oil transformed from regional cooking fat into global health food. The International Olive Council coordinates promotion across producing nations. Marketing budgets reach into the hundreds of millions. Ukraine produces 1/3 of the world's sunflower oil and accounts for nearly half of global exports. Russia produces another 15 to 25%. The world's primary cooking oil alternative comes from one of the most geopolitically unstable regions on Earth. There is no International Sunflower Council equivalent to the olive oil promotion machine. No UNESCO heritage status for sunflower cultivation. No celebrity chefs extolling sunflower traditions. The product sits in grocery aisles as a generic commodity, while olive oil occupies premium shelf space. The research funding gap tells the story clearly. Search PubMed, the database of medical research, and you will find over 15,000 studies on fish oil and omega-3 fatty acids. Search for sunflower oil research and you find a fraction of that number. Studies follow funding. Funding follows marketable products. Products with patent protection and processing requirements attract investment. A seed that farmers can save and replant indefinitely attracts no venture capital. This is not about hiding information. This is about attention economics. Every dollar spent promoting olive oil is a dollar reinforcing consumer behavior that favors olive oil. Every cooking show featuring extra virgin olive oil trains viewers that olive oil equals healthy cooking. Every Mediterranean diet article cements the association between olive groves and longevity. The information about sunflower oil exists. The studies are published. The FDA ruling is public record, but attention flows toward marketed products and away from commodities. The self-sufficiency angle reveals the deepest structural tension. Olive trees require 3 to 8 years before first harvest. They need Mediterranean climate, specialized processing, and established orchards. The barriers to entry are enormous. A family cannot decide in January to produce olive oil by December. The supply chain maintains itself through time requirements alone. Sunflowers break every element of this model. Buy seed once. Plant in May after soil reaches 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Harvest in September or October. Process with a hand crank press that costs less than $200. Store oil in a cool, dark place for 6 to 12 months. Repeat the next year using saved seeds. A crop that self-perpetuates cannot generate repeat seed sales. A process requiring no specialized equipment cannot generate processing revenue. Food sovereignty threatens food industry revenue. The numbers make the opportunity clear. Oil yield extracted from sunflower seeds ranges from 35 to 80 gallons per acre depending on variety and conditions. The average American household uses 3 to 4 gallons of cooking oil per year. A small backyard plot can produce a meaningful contribution to a family's oil supply. Larger acreage produces surplus for storage or trade. The math works at every scale, from suburban garden to commercial farm. Growing requirements favor the home producer. Sunflowers thrive in USDA hardiness zones 3 through 10, covering most of the continental United States. The plants tolerate drought once established. They adapt to poor soil conditions. They require minimal fertilizer compared to commodity crops like corn or soybeans. Most regions allow planting between early May and mid-June after frost danger passes. Similar to corn, sunflowers need soil temperature of 50 degrees Fahrenheit to germinate. 100 days later, the seeds are ready for harvest. Processing at home scale requires simple equipment. Small hand-operated oil presses extract oil through mechanical pressure without heat or chemicals. Cold pressing preserves nutrients and produces clean-tasting oil. The leftover seed cake after pressing contains high protein suitable for animal feed or garden fertilizer. Nothing is wasted. The entire seed becomes either oil or soil amendment. Compare this to industrial oil processing with its solvents, refiners, and waste streams. Variety selection matters for oil production. Oilseed varieties bred specifically for oil content differ from confection varieties sold as snacks. High oleic hybrids with names like Nutritional and various proprietary cultivars offer the healthiest fatty acid profiles. Heirloom varieties remain available through seed-saving networks for those prioritizing genetic diversity over maximum yield. The seed exists, the knowledge exists, the equipment exists. Ukraine built an entire agricultural economy around this reality. Before the current conflict, Ukraine exported 45 to 55% of global sunflower oil supply. Entire regions organized around sunflower cultivation, processing, and export. Millions of farmers grew the crop. Thousands of facilities processed seeds into oil. The infrastructure proved that sunflower oil production works at industrial scale. That same biological reality works at backyard scale. The plant does not know whether it grows in a Ukrainian field or an American garden. The connection to food security has never been more relevant. Global supply chains demonstrated their fragility during recent years. Shipping disruptions, political conflicts, and agricultural failures sent cooking oil prices spiking worldwide. Families watched grocery costs climb while feeling powerless to respond. The alternative was always available, the alternative that grows in 90 days, the alternative that requires no import terminals or tanker ships, the alternative that Native Americans perfected before Europe knew the Americas existed. This is what resilience looks like. Not bunkers filled with freeze-dried meals, not supplement pills shipped from factories across oceans. Resilience is a crop that matures in one growing season, a crop that produces the same fatty acids doctors recommend, a crop that processes with hand tools in a garage, a crop that stores its own seeds for the following year. The question was never whether sunflower oil matches olive oil for health. The science settled that question decades ago. The FDA confirmed it in 2018. Clinical trials published it in peer-reviewed journals. The question is why Western consumers never learned that a backyard garden could replace their dependence on imported cooking oil. The answer is structure. Economic systems promote what economic systems can profit from. Research follows funding. Funding follows patents. Patents require control. Sunflowers cannot be controlled. They grow, they produce seed, they spread, they establish themselves wherever farmers or gardeners plant them. What cannot be owned cannot be marketed. What cannot be marketed does not enter popular consciousness. 3 generations of Americans grew up without understanding that their continent's native oilseed outperforms Mediterranean imports on nearly every metric. But now you know. You know that high oleic sunflower oil matches olive oil's fatty acid profile. You know the FDA recognizes its cardiovascular benefits. You know it tolerates higher cooking temperatures. You know it produces harvestable seeds in 100 days rather than requiring years of tree maturation. You know Native Americans cultivated it for millennia before European contact. You know hand processing requires minimal equipment. You know the seeds store their own genetics for perpetual replanting. The $22 billion olive oil industry will not tell you this. The Mediterranean diet promoters will not mention it. The grocery store shelf arrangement will not reveal it. The information exists in research databases and agricultural extension publications and the quiet knowledge of farmers who actually grow the crop. The information waited for someone to connect these dots and explain why your cooking oil choices were artificially constrained. The sunflower does not require your belief to function. It does not need marketing campaigns or celebrity endorsements. It grows in the same soil where it grew 5,000 years ago when Hidatsa farmers first selected seeds for oil content. It produces the same fatty acids that modern science confirms protect cardiovascular health. It matures in the same 90 to 100 days whether scientists study it or ignore it. Every seed planted is infrastructure. Every press of oil is independence. Every saved seed is next year's crop secured without purchase. The technology is ancient. The science is settled. The economics favor the grower. The only barrier was information, and that barrier just fell.